Mr. President, I want to talk about the rules and what we engaged in yesterday, which I thought was a very productive endeavor, to have 3 hours with most senators in the room in the old Senate chambers and be able to exchange our thoughts outside of the limelight. And I believe it was very productive, and we had a lot of ideas come forward. Some of those ideas to resolve this situation may end up being adopted here in a little bit. It looks like Richard Cordray, the Attorney General from Ohio, will get cloture at this point. At least that's the way it's looking, and then we'll have some debate on that nomination. But a couple of other points. First of all, Leader Reid has incredible patience when it comes to this whole issue of executive nominations. I've seen him over and over again be beyond the pale when it comes to patience. And at this point, he realized we were getting things clogged up. There was too much obstruction, and so he needed to force the issue, and I'm very proud that he has, because I think it's pushed us in the right direction. We're going to get executive nominees in place on a timely basis, and we're going to get rid of all the delay we've had. I look back in history when we talk about executive nominees, and I remember my father when he became Secretary of Interior there in 1961, and I had told him when I was first sworn into the Senate and came home that we were having a hard time getting executive nominees in place. And he said, "Tom, the amazing thing, if you highlight that 50 years ago and 50 years later here, is that we have had, I had my whole team in place in 2 weeks, my entire team in place in 2 weeks. Well, here we are the 5th year into President Obama, and he doesn't have his team in place. And so that's really what the issue is here, and I know that we're focusing on that and trying to do everything we can to find a solution to how we allow a president who's been reelected and by a pretty good margin to have his team in place. And I'm very, let me say that I'm very confident that Senator John McCain, who I know is working on the compromise, a good friend of the family, somebody who really cares about moving forward with the issues rather than obstructing. He was a part of the Gang of 14, as everybody knows. Senator McCain came up with that compromise with 13 other senators to move us forward in terms of the gridlock that we were facing with judicial nominations. And so I hope that the discussions are taking place are going to produce something, but I think it's a big breakthrough. It's a big breakthrough to see that we are at the point where Richard Cordray, who's been waiting for 2 years, this is a very competent individual. He has served as the Attorney General of Ohio, one of our biggest states, a great consumer protection person, and that he is now going to, we'll get cloture, we'll have debate, but my sense is we're going to get him into that consumer agency, and it'll make a big difference. Just as a final thing here, and I see my good friend Senator Corker, so I want to make sure he gets to speak before we have this 11 o'clock vote. I have a fuller statement here. I'd like to, with consent, put my full statement into the record as if spoken.